Aloha. I'm trying to get through that without getting emotional. Can you tell that I've been through shit in my life? Jesus. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a bit of a different video. It's not a vlog, but I have been getting this question quite often, so that's why I'm addressing it. And the question is, Tish, how come you don't play professionally anymore? Or why did you quit playing professionally? So I'm about to tell you guys my background story and why I stopped competing. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a background of my golf story, which you can actually see the full story. I'm gonna put the link in the description below. It's literally called My Golf Story, to give you my full rundown of my life and how I got into golf and blah, blah, blah. So I'll start from professional golf. So after I graduated from Cal State Fullerton in 2015, I turned professional right out the gate. I didn't do Q school that year, though. I didn't feel ready enough. And then I played my first professional event at the Arizona Women's Open, where coincidentally my first professional event I was playing with Paige Renee, and that's how we became good friends. And so I went hard. In my 2016 I played like 20 something events, and it was a grind. I had a couple sponsors from Alta Vista Country Club, because that's where I used to teach and work as a cart girl. Not just a cart girl, outside service girl. I was grinding for my dime out there, cleaning the carts and you know, picking at the range and working in the clubhouse, carrying the bags. My sponsors helped me out during that time, and they put some money in a hat. I went out, I did great. On the mini tour circuit, I won twice. On the, gosh, I'm forgetting the name, because they changed it. It used to be called, I can't even remember what it used to be called. It's called the, the National Women's Golf Association, the NWGA. Okay, the NWGA sounds like that rapper band group. The NWGA, I won one event there, and that's actually primarily a East Coast tour for the women, but they came out to California and tried to do a swing. I won one there. I was top of the money list there. And then I won on the Cactus Tour in 2016 as well. And my first tournament I won for the NWGA, I think I shot like, I think I shot 11 under. It was crazy. I went really low. I won by like 9 shots, and it was at Hidden Valley Golf Club in Southern California. And it was that tournament that I was like, oh, I believe I can do this. And then I won the Cactus Tour a month later, and then I was top of the money list in Cactus Tour as well for 2016. 2017, life hit me in the face, and my professional golf career wasn't as strong as my 2016. Q school, every year I went, I missed the cut by 1. Which is like gut-wrenching. So it's now called Q Series, but when I was trying Q school, the way it worked was that it was 4 rounds. It's in Palm Springs, it's death, and you actually play to the 3rd round, and there's a cut after the 3rd round to make it to the 4th round. And then after the 4th round, they do another cut to make it to 2nd stage of Q school, which is now Q Series. It was like, let's say there were 350 girls, and there was 3 different courses maxed out on tee times. They only took, I think, 125 in ties. Correct me if I'm wrong. Around 125 in ties after the first 3 rounds, and then after the 4th round, they took 90 in ties. And I would always be that awkward 90 to 125 girl, and I missed it twice. And it was just like golfing at 120-degree weather and just training all month in the desert. There were girls just like passing out left and right. It was wild. After that, I started leaning a lot and meshing the social media world and the professional golf world, and that's really kind of where it came to an end. And like, I love what I do now, and I'm very grateful I made the jump from professional golf to, you know, being a golf media personality and influencer and on TV talent and creator and trick shotter and dance, whatever you want to call it. I very much enjoy what I do now, and I think it was very important that I made the jump at the time I did. I officially made the switch in 2018. That's when I was like, I'm going to drop the bag. My last competition was in 2018. I don't even remember the tournament, but it might have been a Cactus Tour. It might have been, I played one event on the Aussie tour, and that was one of the final ones as well. Reasons why I quit. Well, one, I found opportunities in the world that I'm in now that I felt were really, really hard to put down. I mean, just trying to have a career as a female professional golfer, like, yes, when you're on the LPGA, if you want to be a professional golfer, it does seem amazing, it does seem great, but my goodness, the struggle is absolutely real. My first year out in 2016, my golf club at the time, put $4,000 in a hat, handed it to me and said, go for it. I was like their little racehorse, and I was always placing. I didn't miss a cut in 2016 on any mini tour circuit, and I didn't miss a cut at any state tournaments as well. I went out, I did my thing. I really didn't lose money at worst. If I did, it was near breaking even. Entry fees are like $400 to $700. You gotta find a place to stay. You may want a caddy. You gotta pay for food, you know, all this stuff, and let alone a lot of these events. Luckily, Cactus Tours in Arizona, so I just drive there. But yeah, everything's out of your pocket when it was all said and done. At the end of the year, I think I was up at around $8,000, maybe a little more. And I was always placing. That's 2 wins under my belt. My first win, I think I only had a $1,500 check, but I thought I was living. I thought that that was the dream. I thought that was so much money. I remember being nervous cashing in that check. And, you know, it wasn't until I started missing cuts and I got injured, paired with life really just hitting me and me just trying to figure myself out, that really, you know, that money left very, very fast. And in the world I am in now, I was getting opportunities like, Tish, do you want to do a hitting event? Where basically I'm like a celebrity pro shot at like a fundraiser event or what have you. And I remember in 2016, later in 2016, I was still very much like, I'm going to be an LPGA pro. This is it for me. I remember I got an offer for, I think, $500. And it was to go to a hitting event. I just got to spend all day, entertain these guys, and hit shots for every single group. And I was able to bring in 3 friends, which was Kenzie O'Connell, at Kenzie O'Connell, at Nikki B Golf, and one of our other friends at Sumagui Palavatana? I don't know. It's a really hard last name. Anyways, her name's Sumagui. And we all rocked it. And we had such a great time. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, if I could have gigs like this all the time, that would be amazing. But it was like any gig I got, there wasn't a lot. You know, it was once every month or every once in a while. And that check would go straight to an entry fee and disappear if I didn't make the cut. And it just, you know, slowly withered away. And so slowly my mind started going into like, what if I just pursued this social media thing? Like, I don't know. And at that time, we didn't even know what that meant, because the social media thing, we just called each other like golf babes. We were known as golf babes. And we didn't like that name. There was no influencer, which still has a negative name to it, but I think that what I do encompasses a lot more than just being an influencer. Yeah, that was kind of one of the big reasons why I left, is that I just saw more opportunity, and I think a really great platform that I can grow and you know, do my thing on and go from there. So that was 1. 2, I essentially got really burnt out. I had been competing since I was 3 years old, or sorry, I've been competing since I was 7 years old, playing since 3. I was a top junior golfer in Illinois from like 9 to 11. I helped create the women's division in IJGA, which was the Illinois Junior Golf Association. I competed and represented Illinois in a bunch of, you know, US events. And then yeah, I went on to the collegiate golf and did the professional golf. And I just had been doing it for so long, and you'd think that the nerves after all the tournaments I've played, and I just, you know, I got burnt out. So 3, I think one of the things that I'm now realizing is that I didn't have, I don't know how to say this. Gosh, okay. So right at the end of my professional golf career, or, you know, the very short-lived one, I was with a swing coach for 7 years from the point of high school and on, and he really helped me find the love for golf again in times where I really wanted to back out. And I am always going to be grateful for that moment and that relationship in that sense, but I think it became extremely unhealthy at some point. he was teaching me for free, so I felt like I needed to stay with him, and I felt like his information was very valuable. But I think that at the end of the day, that coaching relationship was very toxic, not for weird reasons like you may be thinking right now, now that I'm realizing what I just said. It wasn't like that. It was actually kind of like verbally abusive. Like, he would throw my clubs and tell me that I'm shit and tell me I'll never make it if I can't get my short game in check, or you know, constantly cuss at my face or cuss at me and tell me that I'm worthless and then tell me that I am worth something. It was just like this very, you know, toxic thing that it became. Whenever he came to one of my events to watch me, I would be so extremely nervous that I just couldn't even hold the golf club without my club head shaking crazily. And it became toxic between managing him as my swing coach and my college coach. They both did not like each other. I was never in a good mental state, and I felt like I had to go professional, even if there was a part of me that was like a little unsure. I felt like I had to, because I needed to prove to myself that I could do it without all that noise behind me. And I mean, truthfully, like, I know it may not be much to people, but you know, winning a mini tour event is still very much something. And having a handicap at that point of, I think at the best my handicap was a plus 1.4. And for those of you who may not be too golf savvy, a handicap with a plus in front of it means you average below scratch. And yeah, I was doing well, and I felt like I needed to prove to myself that I could do it after dropping that coach. And that's also a big reason why I am in the middle of getting my certification to be an instructor. Not that that's really going to be a primary focus right now. I've always loved doing tips with Tish, but I really want some more legitimacy behind the tips that I have. I've grown up around in college the biomechanics of it, and that one coach did teach me so much, from, you know, the structure of the swing, very Hogan-esque, and you know, TrackMan and all that stuff. Like, all that is like buried into my brain, because if I didn't get it right, he would yell at me. And I do feel like I have a lot of knowledge, but I now feel the need to get a certification so that if at one point in my life I do want to go full into teaching, I will never teach in the manner that he taught me, and I would be nothing but encouraging. And I think he deterred a lot of his players that he was teaching from wanting to quit the game. And I fortunately was someone who didn't quit the game entirely, but he was a big reason why I just felt like I needed to prove myself and then let go, which is, it's really sad. You just don't talk about this kind of stuff often, but I think it's, for those of you who are watching and you have daughters, or doesn't matter, you know, kids that want to get into golf, like, make sure that you find a really good coach that's you know, going to be a very positive role model in your kids' lives. And at that point, my parents had split, and for a moment, even though I was already past college, I didn't have a fatherly figure for a minute, and he was already very controlling as a swing coach, and I just leaned on him even more, and it just became a more toxic relationship. It became even harder for me to walk away. And so I guess that's another video for another day. But that was a really big reason why I think I realized that I wasn't doing professional golf for the right reasons, because I really wanted to prove a point, and I'm just stubborn and competitive like that. Whew, it's getting a little hot. Trying to get through that without getting emotional. Anyways, fourth point is that, you know, when I got into the media side of things, I really got to be able to see a lot of these great players, you know, like literally right in front of me. Like, Tiger Woods could touch him. I'm literally at the US Open recording him and whatnot, doing some social media coverage, LPGA events like Evian Championship, which is beautiful. I'm like literally walking with Anna Nordquist and Lydia Ko, and, you know, all these great players. And after really watching them and not just seeing the way they hit the ball, because I think at a certain level, like between Symetra Tour, Ladies European Tour, LPGA Tour, even Mini Tour circuit, you guys can hit the same shots. You can likely hit the same distance, okay? But the accuracy is different, the consistency is different, and their work ethic is a whole different level. And when I was playing professionally, I felt like I was giving up so much already. I was training like 6 to 7 hours a day. I would go practice 2 hours, go play in money games, or go play 18 holes by myself, whatever. and that took up 4 hours, and then go practice another 2 hours, find time to eat in between, and then go work out at nights because I didn't like to work out in the mornings because I couldn't be sore while practicing. And then also find time to work, literally work as the outside service girl at Alta Vista Country Club. So it was a lot, and I felt like I couldn't give up more. I was already not seeing my family, you know, not really able to keep up with much of my relationships. And so seeing those girls, they gave up everything. They've been giving up their whole lives. A lot of them gave up school. A lot of them gave up, yeah, like their education, seeing their family, living overseas, you know, all that stuff. And I don't think I could have done more when I was trying to go pro. Like, I thought I did everything I could. And then when I saw these girls out there and talk to them and hear their experiences and all the things that they were really giving up, I couldn't do more of that. I couldn't give up more of not seeing my family and my friendships and just more of the grind of struggling and just being like so poor and not, literally sleeping in a car for a qualifier. And you know, golf is a very individual sport, so it just gets very, very lonely. And when you're not playing well, you get in this really bad headspace of just not believing in yourself, and it affects every part of you. Like for me, it really became life or death. And so fourth point is that I knew that I didn't have, I was doing my hardest, and I couldn't do what the girls were doing out there. I couldn't give up more. I didn't want to put on more weight to get more mass behind the ball. And I was really just getting over it in that capacity. And then fifth point is that I had to really think about, you know, what was it that I was waking up and enjoying? And it was the social media. I would wake up and be so excited to create. I would wake up and be so excited to show my personality, because when you're golfing and you're on the mini tour level, symmetric tour level, not much personality out there, nothing but cutthroat, especially for me, because I just get really competitive. I don't really speak to my competitors, but when we're off the course or in between holes, that's when I'm fun and, you know, just having a good time. But I was always really serious. I just remember me going through a period of just furrowing my eyebrows so much that I was like having massive headaches, because that's all I could do, just like that crazy focus face. And yeah, I couldn't do that anymore. And I realized that I can probably make a better impact in golf by, you know, having a good time and showing more of my personality. And I remember having this conversation. I literally asked myself, do I think I could be the next Lexi Thompson or Lydia Ko? Obviously no. Anyone would say that about my game, like hands down. And I thought, but could I make a difference in the game, perhaps a different way? And I said yes. And that's when it hit me, and I was like, I gotta walk away. And to be very, very honest, whenever I played well, I placed. I received a check. I came first. I was, you know, going up in a ranking and stuff. I think I enjoyed the accolades more so than the process, which is really, really wrong. It shouldn't be that way for anything that you want to do, right? And yeah, that's when I really realized that it wasn't for me, and I really thought that was my life. And so many people believed in me. I was always a grinder. I was always willing to do the things that people wouldn't. I mean, even Phil Mickelson has been trying to convince me to get back out there, and he believes I can do it. And I was like, listen, like I can't. My heart's not there. And if your heart is not there 100%, if you just have a sliver of doubt, you don't have room for that. You can't have the doubt. And so anyone who wants to go professional and you want the reality of it, I can surely give it to you. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of perseverance. And for me, it wasn't for me, but I found something a lot better. And so, yeah, I don't really know what more to add. But yeah. All right, you guys, you have heard me ramble on. I have seen the question enough. So to answer the question of why I stopped playing professionally, those 5 reasons, those are it right there. And I'm truly happy doing what I'm doing now and, you know, entertaining you guys. And I, you know, now that I think about it, I think I feel a lot more fulfillment bringing new people, non-golfers, into the game versus perhaps what I maybe could have done as a professional golfer, but that's just like a sliver of a chance, you know. And so I hope you all have enjoyed this video. I know it's quite long, but it answers a lot. If you have any more questions, I'd love to do more of these little about me sessions, and that's basically it. If you like what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications button so you don't miss a beat. Bye for now. I didn't cry. I didn't cry. Thank God.